Hello, my fellow chess friends. We are back at it again with another epic and educational day of chess. Today, I have some very sad news. The notorious username ZipTiesandLube has officially been banned, and I have 48 hours before my account closes. This is the official email from Lichess.com. And so, I will have to create a new username. Most likely, Kip314Chess will be the new username. I should just play a casual game because there's really no huge point playing for Elo at this point anymore, but we're going to do it for you guys. Today, we are playing a 1784 with the Caro Khan. We're going to check his profile. He does not play bullet at all. He's decent at blitz, and he's lower rated than me and everything. So hopefully I can give you a little instructional game on the Tartakower. So if he steps back, I don't know the line as well. If he captures, I know this structure quite well. And so if he goes back, I'm not going to be able to explain as much, but if he takes, you're in for luck because I can explain quite a few things, like the next 5 best moves. This is a weird move. It's an alien gambit-esque structure where this knight is already developed. So what if I do coax him in? Do you actually need to do this, or can I just develop? And if he takes, no, that's a blunder because my king will be here and he'll hit me with this check and he'll grab the bishop. So maybe we do coax him in. I think this is the main line, but his knight has been developed. And his options are basically step back here, which isn't great. Leave it there, which isn't great. Coming forward isn't great here. So he's basically got the sacrifice or stepping all the way back here, which I can ruin the pawn structure. So hopefully he just captures, and we'll have a little defensive game. You generally don't want to play the alien gambit when you're playing a 10-minute game of chess, though. So our opponent is kind of in the hot seat. I'm not 100% sure. He could develop the bishop and apply pressure to my f7 square, the weakest square in black's position, and f2 on the white side is the weakest square because it is only defended by the king. If we take a look right here, only defended by the king. So that opens up a lot of sacrificing and attacking ideas such as this. Like this square can be attacked so easily. He does elect to sacrifice the knight. Then I believe pushing this pawn is what we go for. Right? This knight is already developed, which gives me the creeps. It gives me the creeps, most definitely. And so, if I develop the bishop, he gives me the check, and I just straight up lose the bishop, because I got to step away from it, he just takes it. So pushing the pawn makes sense. I can also get in the way with my knight, but I feel like this knight is actually a very defensive piece on this side because we do not want this queen getting these dirty checks on us. So I'm going to defend with the pawn. My bishop is locked in. If he pushes the pawn, I believe the best move is to just counter it. I mean, it's hard for me to actually explain. It makes it so I can develop my knight normally. So I think it's just like a pawn sacrifice, but he's down in knight, but we get to activate our knight on a more ideal square than here I'm blocking in my bishop. Because basically, this rook gets suffocated. This bishop has a hard time like aiding in the defense. This check seems to make sense, but I believe I step back in the corner and I just say, come and get me. Which I was hoping to get more of an attacking game, but it looks like we're going to be doing a little bit more of a defensive type game right now. And so he's definitely bringing the rook. That is happening. I'm still quite weary about all this. What if I launch forward and do this? Does he have time? He probably doesn't. He just stays on this super long diagonal. It makes me believe that I can develop this bishop somewhere and then bring the rook to defend this. Something like this to defend against that. So here, check. We step back. He jumps in and attacks my rook. No, he doesn't. I take that with the king. Let's just go for this move. I sure hope I don't just fall apart. And so, basically the game of chess that we're playing right now is if he can checkmate me in the next 10 moves, he wins. If he can't, then he probably loses in the endgame. And that's basically how sacrifices work. It's like you sacrifice a piece and you prey on the attack. So the whole reason of moving this bishop was so that I can slide over and defend it with my rook. Because this pawn looks like it's a little bit soft. So I think we're going to step over like this. And then we might even just step back. But I think this is going to work temporarily. We've got 3 things defending it. So if this check comes in, I don't necessarily need to take. But what we need to be worried about is this queen coming in. I think that I just push, right? Is that what I do? Oh, dear Lord. Because I believe the idea of this is to jump in with the knight, and if I take, this pawn takes, and my knight has to jump over here, but then the queen gets in, then I step back, then you can even like sacrifice again and at least get a draw of some sort. I mean, jumping over here with the knight. So I think pushing this pawn is what I'm supposed to actually do. We push this. He jumps in with check. I step back. My knight remains here defending against the infiltration of the queen is what's important here. Can't really very well do this and cut off all of these attacks. What if I just step out of it? What if I just step away? Or attack, but then he scoots back, but then I attack. But then he defends. Then I push. Then he's here. So I could have like some tempo winning moves. I'm spending too long thinking about this, but I don't think time is going to be a very big factor in this game. It's just don't get checkmated. Do I jump in like this? Then the knight comes in with check. I take. No. I take here, here. Queen comes in. I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. Do I just push? Then if he pushes, I take, push here. If I take, he takes with check, I take. Then I'm just kind of like open, right? But I know that this is a computer line. That's what I'm supposed to do. Not exactly in this position. Boom, boom, boom. Check. Take. Here. Take. I think we're just going to go for it. I know that this is a good move. No, I don't know that this is a good move, but I know that this pawn push is what you're supposed to do in the beginning in certain structures in the Alien Gambit, okay? So that's what I know. So it makes me believe that this is the similar structure, so this has to be a good move. We'll check it with the computer, and we'll see exactly what's going on. We'll see exactly what's going on. Because now my knight has this square to develop to, which is very crucial. Because going here prevents me from defending this pawn, which we don't want to do. So if something like this happens, then the queens see each other. If we trade the queens, he loses. Because I just don't think it's really possible for him to win the game if we trade the queens. And yeah, I'm pretty sad about Zip Ties and Lube. That's been my username for quite some time now. And it was my... like when I was real young, it was my username on Xbox. It still is on PlayStation. I don't have an Xbox anymore, but I have a PlayStation, Team PlayStation. I've actually had both, but I only have a PlayStation now. Okay, so he takes. I think I just ignore what's going on over here and I bring the knight. Do I capture? I think developing a piece is probably in my best interest. So we're going to go ahead and do that, right? Oh, boy. I'm so scared. Do I take first and kind of open up the position? He's also got this queen move coming in now. And it just applies more pressure to this gosh darn piece. Take here. No. Knight first. If this happens, we have this fork, which would be delicious. Then he'd have to defend like this, and I could take. He has to take back. And if we trade off this bishop, I mean, this bishop is absolutely a nuisance. All of his pieces are new. These two pieces are not a nuisance. All right, so he brings in the queen. Do I dare take now? We're going to just do it. Right. Okay, he takes back. Oh, boy. I can attack the queen. Does that do any good? Attack the queen. Queen goes somewhere. Then I jump back here. If a capture. here, here. I think this is what we do. We go for this little tempo winning move. The queen has to stay. Wait a minute. Yeah, if I go here, the queen has to stay defending this square. He can do so like this. But then I jump in the way. And if he takes, I take with the knight. I think that this is the move. What if he sacrifices again? And I take. And then take. And then take. And then push. No, no, no. None of that's going to work. I think this move works. And luckily my knight is holding on to this square right here. And I'm rated 100 points higher than this guy, so I should be able to just like untangle here. The Alien Gambit is really fun to play. It's not super fun to defend against. Like, I've played against it many times. Not so much in Rapid, but definitely like Blitz and Bullet. And I think that I fare quite well. I probably have like a win ratio playing it and defending against it. But it's become such like a meme chess opening that everybody plays it and everybody knows to just push c5. And then that kind of ruins it. Okay, so he's defending against this fork. But I can jump back here and attack the queen again. And if he doesn't take, I'm coming in with this skewer. So I think we're going to be all right. We attack the queen again. If he doesn't take, I mean, he can move the queen somewhere else. Okay. Didn't necessarily win anything by doing that. Potentially we go for this now. Because he's still thinking about this. But I think I can just take. Or I just step back, actually. So this is a really slow move. But if I can get this bishop to like just leave me alone and get off this diagonal, I'm good to go. We need to just make a move. So scared. Because if he jumps in and I take and this pawn comes, it dislodges my knight. And it just becomes really scary for me. I can also potentially trade this. Jump in and attack the queen again. This doesn't really do much good for me. What am I supposed to do? Let's kind of just attack the queen again. Okay. I mean, I really like my knight being here. If he takes. Okay, okay. How? Ooh. Activate my queen like this, threatening the queen trade. If he okay, we're doing this. If he takes, I can just take back. Still defended this. This is still defended by 3 things. This check, I can step back. I don't have to take and like remove this knight. And I can line up something here, but essentially if we get these queens off the board, we're good to go. But I don't think that he's silly enough to let it happen. This rook. This is such a difficult, not fun to play position. It's like a structure that you just never get ever. Like, what is going on here? King on f7. So what are his options? If he steps back, I could jump in like this. He jumps in with a check. I step back. So he goes for the check first. I step over here. I mean, if he takes the knight, I take back. I think we step back. The knight can come over here. I'm also threatening this pawn. I am absolutely tied in a knot right now. This is the issue right now in the position. But essentially, we just need to trade. So maybe this is a video of how to defend against the alien gambit. That's the title of this video. Absolutely. We get a 10-minute game. Probably I've already made like a handful of blunders. But I haven't lost. So we're still going. I got 2 minutes. He's got 4 minutes. Really looking forward to this end game. Look at the king's safety situation. Look at his king. He is just happy in his mansion over there. And I'm on the streets begging for change. Just don't hit me with your car. Okay. We have to step back. I feel like we've got the opportunity to get rid of that guy. We've also got the opportunity to just get rid of that guy. If he takes with the pawn, okay, he takes like this. Probably I want to do a little reroute. I might even step forward now and defend this pawn again. Okay. I mean, we got to activate the rook. Then I believe a formation like this would make a whole lot of sense, where I just defend a little bit of everything. There's only one piece attacking this. He can't push. I just take. I think the bishop wants to be there. We're just hanging on to everything. Next step is figure out where my knight wants to be, and potentially my knight wants to be here, applying pressure to both of these pawns. My king probably just steps up and defends this pawn. I can also kind of jump in and attack this and have some ideas. And now, this is the open file of the position. So this is held on a beautiful, beautiful light square. So he's going to step back. Temporarily, we're just going to jump in. I mean, he can go somewhere. Maybe I just ultimately do want to put my knight here. So yeah, let's just step back. His bishop can go here. But the only thing, I could come in again and attack it if he doesn't want to, so he doesn't stay there. Okay, so he applies pressure there. If my knight ends up here, this pawn is no longer defended. Here, here, and I defend all the way across like this. He comes in, but I defend, then I'm on the open file. I got 1 minute. Oh, we're playing plus 5 seconds. I should definitely be able to conjure up. I think we're going to step forward. We just don't want this sacrifice idea to work. He can definitely put his bishop here. That's a delicious square for my bishop. But then I defend my whole 7th rank like so. And we will fight for this weakness and this weakness. And my bishop is like just unopposed. Rocking it out. Defensive bishop. Also sort of attacking later on. But because if you look at the pawn structure, like his bishop is going to hold down his pawns. And my bishop's going to hold down my pawns. And then we're going to play with my extra knight. And my knight is going to do a little hippity hop all around the board. I also have this fork. So he wants to go there. I think this works actually because I'm attacking your bishop. If you defend here, I attack your bishop again. I think we're going to jump in like so. That attacks the bishop like this. And I can jump forward. I mean, he can still get in. But we're kind of trying to... I mean, my knight is on a good square. Also, through all of it, this is hanging. It's hard to say if I really want that, though. If I, like, jump in, I might just get, like, pinned of some sort. Or, like, just attack. I don't know. I don't know if grabbing this pawn is what we really need. Winning this pawn and this pawn is what we need. And now my king is on a light square. We're pretty happy. I mean, we're attacking this guy. If he goes here... What if we just infiltrate? That actually... No, because he could take here and then get all of that. We don't want that. Okay. So I think I can jump forward. If he goes here... I think we're just going to make a move. We are defending this. There's no good way for me to defend this square. I need to get my pieces in, bro. So what becomes the new idea? If he goes here, the new idea becomes infiltrate like so. But he could defend it by just bringing the king up. So we still have a game of chess. But I think that if I'm able to just make enough moves, we're going to be all right. We go back here. He comes in. I go here. He goes here. Because this now works because my rook is defending. So he comes in. I jump back and attack. I can also take away this square, but he could just push and open it up. Here. As long as I just don't blunder. Please don't let me blunder. This rook is undefended. This rook is undefended. Don't know what to do. I don't think I need to do that, actually. But let's do it. I can then go here, then here. And then... Because now my next square is here, and then I have a fork, and I'm actually doing stuff then. And he can't necessarily push here because I don't need to take with my pawn. We jump in with the knight. This, all of a sudden, is hanging because he's not attacking this anymore. He's got to defend this. If he defends like this, I'm just going to take and get his piece off the board. So pushing doesn't make sense because I'm attacking this. So you got to do something about this. So scooting over, I think I can just take. If you take, I take. If you go back to attacking this, I literally don't know what to do. Maybe I defend like this. 27 seconds. Okay, so he defends here. Okay. Okay. He attacks this. I think we're just going to put my bishop back. I'm still playing like super defensive. This is held. I can move my knight here. Maybe I want my knight over here now. His dude is still defending this. Okay. I mean, that's pretty nice. I'm completely winning. It's just I need to actually do so. And unfortunately, it looks like our opponent maybe have just left the game. I would like to get... I'll give him some time. It is what it is. Essentially, what we're going to do now, I mean, we are applying pressure to this. So if he ever does come over, I can just take, and it's defended twice, actually. And so if he comes back, maybe I just hit him with a check or something and then come back and just accept the pawn is gone. We'll give him some more time. I don't think he's coming back, though. And so I'm completely winning. It's just I'm going to have to not blunder and make some strategic moves. And probably, like, putting my rook on this open file, putting my knight here, applying pressure to all of this stuff, obviously would make sense. Oh, okay. So I think we're going to go here. I can jump in like so. Now my knight is over here. That hangs the rook. That hangs the rook. So I'm glad it worked out like that. I was nervous I would screw up this video and lose the game. I'm grateful that I didn't do that. And so I'm completely winning in this endgame. Even if he didn't hang this rook, it's like these two pieces are on good squares. Your pawns are totally screwed. They can't really go forward. And eventually I'm going to like just break over here or just harass you forever with these pieces. Like you have to stay defending this. This is defended. This is defended. This is super weak. I could figure out if I infiltrate with my rook, it's over. We trade the rooks, it's over. And so hanging the rook, it's really over. So we're going to check it with the computer. I don't know how accurate that was on my end. I think probably like 87%, I would say. And so we'll check it with the computer. Make your guess, put it in the comments, and I'll see you over there. And here we are in the analysis. And I am overjoyed that this will probably be the last video of Zip Ties and Lube before I make a new account, and then I got to start the elo grind all over again. Can you imagine that, bro? Zip Ties and Lube, I get banned for that? Like, bro, I'm a mechanic, if everyone's asking. Just kidding, not a mechanic. But I said what, 87%? Check out this goddamn graph, bro. I had it under control. I played the best move, like every move out of the opening. And so 94%, we made one inaccuracy in the middle game because I'll show you. And so I only got 5 elo for that. So my ending elo for my entire thing is going to be like 1921. And so I made one inaccuracy, one blunder. I mean, one mistake, one inaccuracy, 94%. So quite accurate, and my inaccuracy and my mistake didn't matter. I was still winning. And so the Alien Gambit is not so great at a higher level playing against people in 10 minutes because you have a lot of time to think about your moves. In Blitz, where you're like under time pressure and you have to make a move, that's when you blunder. And so I wouldn't recommend ever playing it in rapid because people, you know, once you play it 25 times, like, you know kind of how to defend. And so let's hop right on into it. We get this, which is a strange variation of the Alien Gambit, but nonetheless, it's still the Alien Gambit idea, okay? So I'm not actually sure what it's called when this knight is already developed, but we accept the Gambit because what else are we going to do? We defend with the pawn, and so every move, best move, okay? Best move, best move, best move, best move, best move, best move, best move. And so should I be explaining this stuff? The idea of developing my bishop is kind of need to develop a bishop. The problems are over here on the king side of the board. I know this pawn is becoming a weakness. I want to have an extra piece to defend it as my rook. So I'm moving the bishop out of the way so I can bring the rook to defend this and match his rook. That's the whole idea of putting the bishop here. We aren't not worried about defending this diagonal as much because this diagonal is not super important. But that was the whole idea. So now I can bring the rook over. This is uber defended, okay? I'm supposed to step back with the king now, but still one of the best moves. They're equal. We play this. Now I have a nice square to bring my knight, so we do put my knight there. Best move. Then, best move, I capture. Trying to remember my moves here. And then, so my whole idea here was, technically I'm just supposed to go for this bishop, and I can just win the bishop. So that's the best move. Just go for this bishop. But what I saw was attack the queen, attack this fork, reroute to the center of the board. And once my knight is here, I'm chilling because this bishop is no longer seeing this pawn. I feel a lot safer. So I do this kind of tactical moving around. This move didn't make sense. Whatever. We do this kind of just to gain some time, essentially. Like, I just did this because I was lower on the clock and I want to just repeat moves, repeat the position. I can force a bishop trade as well, but I bring my queen out here, and then this, right after this is my mistake of the game. Because the way that I did it, I left the queen trade in his hands. And so if I would have captured, he captures, then I take the queen. I make it happen, and then I bring my knight back here, and then we play this end game. So ultimately, it still did transition into something similar to this, but the way that I played it, I stepped back. Then, instead of trading the queens, he should have kept the queens on the board. Never in a million years do you trade the queens when you did a gambit. You can't trade your most active piece. And so when he does this, I know that I'm going to win the game essentially. So he could have maintained the attack, done something like this. And the whole reason that back here, the whole reason I was afraid of taking this is because this pawn comes in, attacks my knight, then my knight has to go somewhere, and that opens up these squares for attack, okay, by the queen. But the queen has already dedicated herself to this side of the board, so the queen coming over here with this check and these attacking ideas, it's not a thing. So taking here and the pawn coming in and this knight needing to move away from the protection of these squares is not super important. But I was still hanging firm to this idea that I needed to protect these squares, because if you get obliterated by the queen coming over here a few times, you're not going to ever let it happen again. So I stepped back, whatever. And so he didn't need to trade the queens. He did. We are now in a position where we have gotten rid of the queens. So essentially just trading the pieces. Should I trade the bishop for the knight? It's not the best move, but from a human standpoint, we got rid of another piece. There we go. And if we just keep trading pieces, I'm going to have an extra knight at the end, okay? So if I can just get rid of the bishops to trade, the rooks trade, we're good to go. So now, this is my least active piece. Rule of the least active piece. Still, I'm playing. Okay, now that it's thinking about it, we'll crank up this depth a little bit. Now, best move, because this rook is serving a purpose. This rook is not. So you look at your position and you play the rule of your least active piece. This knight is doing stuff. This bishop is doing stuff. This rook is doing stuff. This rook has not even moved yet. He is not doing stuff. Obviously, the best move is to move him over and have him be doing stuff. You want your pieces to be doing stuff. And so now, this is just a defensive idea. It's not the best move. It is one of the best moves if we let this thing think a little bit, but it's the safest move. This pawn is defended. He can never take it with the bishop. He can't really take, sacrifices aren't really an option. This is defended, and now we just play with my extra knight. And so now we figure out, how do I get my knight to the most active square, the best square for my knight, like something like this. Sorry, like this. So we jump in with the knight. We jump back. He's trying to figure out what to do over here, but this is defended. Now I saw this sacrificing idea and I got scared, so I just stepped up. I spent 1 second on it, so I guess 4 seconds on it. I could have just hit him with this fork immediately and then traded off some more pieces. And better than that, there's really not a great way to defend. So if I jump over here, there's not a great way to defend because I'm attacking the rook. You can't defend here because the bishop. If you defend here, then I just take it for free. So you would essentially have to just give up the rook for the knight and trade back like this, because this is being attacked too many times now. So I missed that. I played defensive. You know what? I was playing the entire game defensive, so making a defensive king move, I understand it. I'm not attacking yet. I'm like in the mindset of we're defending, don't lose. And so now my rook is defending this all the way across the board. We've got the open file. We're defending this, looking good. I was supposed to be more active and jump in with the knight, but then the rook moves and we're attacking. I'm not playing that move. We're figuring it out slow and steady. This knight is now rerouting a million squares. He hangs a pawn, essentially. We take, then we just bring. I could have taken this pawn as well and defended, but it gets complicated. That's getting complicated. You know what I mean? I jump in. I'm defending this. He could attack it. Just keep it simple. I'm going to win the game. Just keep it simple. I don't need to make the best move. And now it is the best move. Whatever. We slide over. We slide out. We're doing a reroute to get my rook on this open file and be on a light square. So that's why we're doing it like this. So we can avoid these dark squares because this bishop sucks. So we slide over. We're good to go. Now my knight is on a good square. Okay? He can never get rid of it. It's applying pressure to this pawn. Constant ideas of jumping into the position are there. And he just hangs the rook. But if he didn't hang the rook, I mean, what is he really supposed to do? Like, I'm gonna be able to advance and like essentially just open up the position. I have a +5 advance. I have an extra piece. I'm gonna win. I guarantee it. And so if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. That was a nice little instructive how to play the Alien Gambit. I hope I was able to explain everything to the best of my ability. I'm sure that I did. Whatever. Either way, I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. If you want to subscribe, please do it. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. Just I'll never see you again. So get out of here. Thank you so much for watching my video. I love you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.